understand better the lessons in your module. Welcome to By now, you should have mastered many of the fundamental writing techniques like the essay format and structure. You already know what a thesis statement is and how to use one to your advantage in creating your academic paper. This time, you will learn how to identify the strengths and weaknesses and communicate your thoughts on a selection that you have read in a creative and logical way.
And for our objectives, 1. Define a critic. 2. Identify the types and features of a critic. 3. Comprehend the steps in writing a critic. 4. Analyze a sample critic. A critic is a genre of academic writing that briefly summarizes and critically evaluates a work or concept. It asks you to analyze a work of art, literature, music, science, or journalism in detail. A critic can be about anything. Consider the following examples: a speech of a famous person, a website for design and credibility, an essay written by one of your peers, a book or a novel, news reports, feature articles. Research article, research thesis or journal article, an exhibit, a film and a poem, a work of art or a song, a theory or idea. Writing a critic on a work helps us develop a knowledge of the work's subject area or related works, an understanding of the work's purpose, intended audience, development of argument, structure of evidence, or creative style, a recognition of the strengths and weaknesses of the work. You can use this sample checklist to examine your critic essay if you were able to convey your thoughts properly and logically. Here are the steps in writing a critic. 1. Have a thorough understanding of the work that will be critiqued. 2. Study the work under discussion. 3. Always find both positive and negative things to say. 4. Consider the author's or creator's purpose and the historical context. 5. Analyze your emotional reactions. 6. Do outside research. In the introduction part, you should name the work being reviewed as well as the date it was created and the name of the author or creator. Describe the main argument or purpose of the work. Explain the context in which the work was created. Have a concluding sentence that signposts what your evaluation of the work will be for. Summary. This briefly summarizes the main points and objectively describe how the creator portrays these by using techniques, styles, media, character, or symbols. Critical evaluation. This evaluation is written in formal academic style and logically presented. Group order your ideas into paragraphs. Start with a broad impression first and then move into the details of the technical elements. For shorter critiques, you may discuss the strengths of the work and then the weaknesses. In longer critiques, you may wish to discuss the positive and negative of each key critical question in individual paragraphs. To support the evaluation, provide evidence from the work itself, such as a quote or example. And you should also cite evidence from the related sources. Explain how this evidence supports your evaluation of the work. This section should give systematic and detailed assessment of the different elements of the work, evaluating how well the creator was able to achieve the purpose through these. A critical evaluation does not simply highlight negative impressions. Here are some critical questions. Who is the creator? Is the work presented objectively or subjectively? What are the aims of the work? Were the aims achieved? What techniques, styles, media were used in the work? Are they effective in portraying the purpose? What assumptions underlie the work? Do they affect its validity? What types of evidence or persuasion are used? Has evidence been interpreted fairly? How is the work structured? Does it favor a particular interpretation or point of view? Is it effective? Does the work enhance understanding of key ideas or theories? Does the work engage with key concepts or other works in its discipline? In the conclusion part, there should be like a statement indicating the overall evaluation of the work, a summary of the key reasons identified during the critical evaluation, and recommendations for improvement on the work may be appropriate. And lastly, the reference list. You should include all resources cited in your critique. Let's read an example of a critique paper by Ashley Nelson on an article, Self-Report of ADHD Symptoms in University Students, Cross-Gender and Cross-National Prevalence by George Dupol, Elizabeth Shojensi, Lisa Elwian, Gail Tripp, Jeff Keisner, Kenji Ota, and Heidi Stanish. Now, let's take a look at each part of the critique to gather more ideas in writing one. In the first paragraph, she mentioned the title of the article that she critiqued as well as the authors. If you're going to look back on the checklist, it's the first thing that you should include in your critique. In the second and the third paragraph, she briefly summarized the article. Summary is one of the main features of a critique. Her summary included the symptoms of ADHD, the countries and number of students who took the self-reported surveys, as well as the results. In the fourth paragraph, she gave a positive evaluation by citing one of the strengths of the article, while the fifth paragraph contains the supporting details to back her initial assessment. In the next paragraphs, she once again gave a positive feedback of the article together with evidences. In her conclusion paragraph, she gave her overall evaluation of the article. It was well written that she actually recommends it to others as a reference. And lastly, she has her reference list. All in all, this critic paper is a good one for it has all the information and parts that are necessary for a critic. I hope that by discussing this example, you will be guided in writing your own critic.
That's a wrap! I hope that you were able to gain new knowledge in this video lesson. See you in the next episode of